Hello, my name's David Douglas and I run Derry Danders walking and audio tours. I'm based in the city of Derry / Londonderry. I offer politically neutral but historically accurate tours and encourage people to linger longer in Londonderry and enjoy a dander around Derry. So today, on behalf of Tour Guides NI, I'm going to take people on a dander around the city of Derry, Londonderry. See some of the sights that you would see if you were doing my tour and see some of the businesses and hospitality and other attractions that are available to you when you visit the city. So behind me you have the Peace Bridge, and this was opened in 2011 just before the city became the City of Culture. There are a number of stories why it is the shape that it is. Some say it's because peace is not straightforward, that it takes lots of twists and turns as you go along. Another story is that it symbolises a handshake from the people of the waterside to the people of the city side, and that's why it's the shape that it is. So behind me you see the famous walls of the city. They were built between 1613 and 1619 by the London companies. If you'd have been here in this square up until about 1800, you'd actually probably been standing in the water, because originally the foil actually came right up close to the walls at this point. And only in the mid-1800s was the land drained and the river was pushed back. But this would be the main square of the city and an important place where you would arrange to meet people, and for many years this is where I would start my tours. The building you see over to our left is the Guildhall, and again that's called because of the London companies or guilds that would have built the walls and developed the city. That has been our town hall from 1890. That is not the original building, because the original building largely burnt down in 1906. But it was rebuilt and is a very pleasant building to visit, free to visit normally. There's an exhibition about the plantation of Ulster and other interesting rooms and artefacts about the city to see in it, and the City Council would have their meetings still in that building. We're now standing outside the new Visitor Information Centre of Visit Derry in Waterloo Place. This was opened in September 2020 and unfortunately has not had much use yet. But whenever things open up again, there are lots of interesting information for tourists in here. Where to book hotels, how to get onto guided tours, and also some interactive displays about the city. We're standing here now in Great James's Street, just beside one of the new murals of the city of the Dalai Lama and Richard Moore, who was blinded by a plastic bullet during the Troubles. There are lots of new murals have grown up around the city. Some of them are really interesting, to do with entertainment and more social issues rather than just politics. But I think you'll agree with me, a very colourful addition to the scene in Derry. So welcome to the Craft Village, and in here you have a lot of different businesses. You have gift shops, you have coffee shops, you have bookshops, you have so many other things to come in and see. And I would encourage you, if you're coming to the city, go slightly off the main street, go slightly off the walls and visit the Craft Village. And we're still in the Craft Village, and now we're outside the Cottage Craft Gallery and Coffee Shop, and we're talking to Michelle, one of the people that run it. And Michelle, what is the unique aspects of your business? What would you encourage people to come and see and do here?
Well, we have very friendly staff, great product. We have homemade scones, freshly made every day. I make them myself, or Hank, and we have traditional recipes for the scones, and We do fresh every day. We try to keep everything as fresh as possible, homemade every day. Most of our produce is homemade. We have a few things. We can't
Right.
keep up with the demand for everything.
And you do a range of
Around.
crafts and gifts
We
as
do
well?
crafts, local crafters, ceramics, paintings, and soaps and candles, all handmade as well. So
Great.
it's,
So a lot of people talk about the Derry Girls mural, and I like to say, well, if you want to see the real Derry Girls, come and see the Factory Girls murals. These were the women that worked in the shirt factories that put bread on for the table for their families during that historic period. And if you look just above my head, you see the Singer sewing machine, and it was the mechanism of the sewing industry that allowed the shirt factories to happen. So both of these are very important and very important for our culture. You're standing now outside where the Derry Girls mural is, and for many people this is now the most photographed thing in the city, and it's to do with the Channel 4 comedy series that a lot of it was filmed in the city and elsewhere. So there are four girls and another guy that were living in Derry during the time of the 1990s, and it has been very popular, and a lot of people now specifically come to the city to hear about the Derry Girls and to look at the Derry Girls mural. This is the oldest building in the city. The oldest structures you'll see are the walls, but this building dates from 1626 to 1633. And if you get a chance, great place to visit both the cathedral and the Chapter House Museum behind it. So I encourage you, if you get the chance, come to my city, come on a Derry dander, come with another tour guide, come and see what our city has to offer, and enjoy a day out and linger longer in Londonderry and enjoy your dander in Derry. And we've now arrived at the City of Derry Equestrian Centre, which is off the Big Word Road in Ardmore, just outside the city. And we're talking to Pauline, and Pauline runs this business. Pauline, do you want to tell us more about the experiences and other things that you offer to guests coming here?
We offer guests the opportunity to experience horse riding as nature intended, and basically what that means is that they're moving to the rhythm of the horse's hooves. So that 4-beat movement, as well as learning stories about people of the past. The people of the past really helped shape the countryside that we live on now. As a 4th generation farmer, I have this real sense of being a gatekeeper for a short while of the local landscape, of stories of people that went before, so our visitors really get in essence what it was like to be here, maybe from about the early 1900s when my great grandmother was born, who lived up the road, up until the present day.
That's great. And if people are interested in maybe booking your tours or contacting you, what's the best way to do that?
The best way would be have a wee look at our website, see what type of trail suits you, because we also have one that can be just totally horse based, or we have one that has horse with the storytelling as well, and then just to contact us from there.
We're here with Martin Bradley from Foyle Trails, and Martin looks at plants and plants mythology. So we're going to take a walk with him around an area around the Ness Woods, and Martin's going to tell us some of the different things that you'd see on one of his trails. So Martin, do you want to tell us a wee bit about the types of tours or anything in specific about your tours?
Specifically, I do ritual landscapes. So it's anything that to do with the plants and the landscape that would have gone back into the Bronze Age, or the Celtic people that lived in Ireland, and how they lived, what trees in particular then that they would have seen as ritual or sacred trees, and then there's plants also that are sacred to them. And what I do then is just take people through these habitats. Today you're doing a woodland, and just show you the plants that have for hundreds of years, maybe even thousands of years, been used by people, and the fact that they're used by people then made them in the past something sacred to them, because they were a food source for them through the summertime, and maybe even stored into the winter, so they then became sacred plants, a lot of them, yeah. But particularly the trees are the ones that are really the ritual objects in a woodland.
Well, how do you know so much about this? Has this been sort of you've been doing it all your life?
I've been doing it all my life, since I was so high. Chasing about. My mother used to say, it's safe enough to let him out, we'll find him under the hawthorn tree up the lane. I was sitting poking about in the ground. Got to university, did environmental science and other stuff. I've been doing plant ecology and paleoecology, yeah, as well. So I can cover a bit of geology as well, but really what I cover is the plants, because that's what people are interested in, especially when you make associations with the plants with maybe movies and series of movies like Harry Potter, even the Lord of the Rings. There's habitats that I can take people to that are similar to the habitats that are in the Lord of the Rings and even some of the Harry Potter films. Yeah, so it's even that, and that really brings it to life for people because they can associate with scenes that they've seen in movies. And then to understand some of the plants and why people like J.K. Rowling then wrote these kind of scenes into the screenplay, not the screenplays, into the books. You can really understand it because look, gang, she reaches back into the past and associates then a lot of the wizardry and the witchery that was going on in the books with the sacred plants and sacred trees in particular.
So we're standing in the ancient graveyard of Dungiven Priory, and here you can see some of the ruins of some of the old buildings there. This is a fantastic site, lots of history here, especially related to the O'Cahan family, who would have been the sort of Irish clan that would have controlled this area from medieval times. And in that building is the grave of Guy O'Cahan, possibly from the 1100s. And this is also very famous as possibly the burying place for Finvola, the famous gem of the Roe. So you're very welcome today to the Ponderosa Bar and Restaurant, which, as it says, is Ireland's highest bar and restaurant. And it's a nice convenient stop if you're coming in from the airport or from Belfast on your way to Derry to stop and have a bite to eat, or even just have a drink in the new Paddy Joe's Snug Bar. There are also other experiences that they're offering, and that will include a turf cutting experience, which is going to be over on that side of the bar. So encourage you to stop and support this enterprise if you're passing by.